Welcome into another video. This time I have 3 sleepers in this upcoming 2024 NFL draft that we need to be looking at for fantasy football. These are 3 guys that could end up be playing some type of role for your fantasy team in the upcoming season, depending on their draft capital and where they end up and what team and situation they're in. Let's move over here. That's the first person I'm going to talk about today. That's going to be Jamari Thrash, the wide receiver out of Louisville. This is somebody that I've been watching for quite a bit. I've seen a lot of this tape. There's a lot of good things to talk about with Jamari Thrash. Now, his size could be some issues. He's ended up being 6'1". He's at 185 pounds, really small. Ended up with 63 receptions, 858 yards, and 6 touchdowns, which gave him a 13.6 average per catch. Jamari Thrash, somebody that you can really see go out there and have some type of fantasy football relevance just based on the slot role that he could end up with. If we dig a little bit deeper, we're talking about he separates off the line of scrimmage very well. Nice catch type of radius. You know, if you throw it in his vicinity, there's a good opportunity that he's going to come down with the football. I've seen a lot of times where he catches almost like a DJ Moore type of play, where he catches the ball maybe a yard or two behind the line of scrimmage, can make a couple, juke moves or whatever, and then he is gone. So if we look at, it's a speedy wide receiver, right? He just moves very well laterally. He's a twitchy, slippery with the ball in his hands. He's really difficult to bring down, and I like to see that in my wide receivers. Can they do that yards after the catch ability? I think Jamari Thrash has that ability coming out of Louisville. He's able to show some type of skill sets that could transition very well into the NFL. I'm really intrigued to see where he ends up. The second guy I'm going to talk about here is going to be the running back out of Missouri, Cody Schrader. I like what I see out of this guy. I don't think that he can be, a 3-down back type of guy. I don't know if he has the talent for that, but he has enough to be fantasy relevant. Could be a good goal line back as well. He is one of those guys that he's 5'9", 214 pounds. He had 276 carries, 1,617 yards, and 14 touchdowns, which gave him a 5.9 average per carry, along with 22 receptions for 191 pounds. Didn't have any touchdowns, but ended up with 8.1 yards or 8.7 yards per catch. Now, this is a guy that we can see he's a really good physical type of runner. I like the way that he approaches the line of scrimmage, kind of sees what's going on, picks his hole, and shoots the gap. So with this guy, we're talking about, good vision, good cutback ability, underrated acceleration, very decisive where he wants to run. He finds the hole, shoots that gap quickly, like I said. Good hands, has some yards after the catch, upside. Now, if I had to say there's anything that I don't really like about Schroeder's tape, is that really long run type of speed. If he breaks one, is he going to be able to take it to the house? I don't think he has that type of speed. I think he's more of maybe like maybe like a Rashad White type of play where he's really shooting those gaps, making good decisive cuts. But he's not going to break away like a Christian McCaffrey breaking down for 80-yard touchdown run. But he's good enough to make a name for himself in the NFL. Probably going to start out as a number 2 running back. But if given the opportunity due to an injury or anything like that, I think that Cody Schrader could shock some people. Keep him on your fantasy radar. If you're in a Dynasty league, you should be able to get him later on in the draft. He shouldn't be a high pick whatsoever. I'm curious to see where his draft capital is going to come, but he could easily be a sleeper in the 2024 draft. The last guy I'm going to talk about here today is going to be the quarterback out of South Carolina, Spencer Rattler. He's got a nice history about him, right? He started all of his college into Oklahoma, ended up losing his job to Caleb Williams. He had some ups and downs, but we saw some really good things from him. Let's look at it at kind of his physicality traits here. 6'1". We're talking 217 pounds. Ends up with 3,186 passing yards with 19 touchdowns, 104 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns. Spencer Rattler, don't get it twisted. He has talent, right? The problem with him is he just doesn't have the consistency week in and week out to give you what he should be giving you. He is a very highly touted quarterback going out of high school into Oklahoma. Should have been the man, ended up not being the man. So he has elite arm strength. He's got a fluid release. He's able to escape the pressure, make those big throws. He's able to use his feet to extend the plays. Like I said before, he started at Oklahoma and he ended up getting booted away in favor of Caleb Williams, who took over, and we all know how that ended out. He really could be a sleeper in the draft. My biggest problem with him is his decision making, right? His pocket composure sometimes. When the pocket starts to collapse, he makes some bad decisions. He needs to fix that. The NFL is going to be a lot faster than college football, and he's going to be able to make those speedy decisions if he wants to be successful. I think if he can get behind a quarterback. I don't think he's going to come right in and be any kind of stud like a CJ Stroud we saw in this past season. But I think Rattler, getting behind a quarterback, right, that can learn. Let's just say maybe he go into the Jets or something like that. Learning behind a professional, like maybe like Aaron Rodgers or something like that. Get into a good situation where he can develop some good habits. I think Spencer Rattler could be a huge addition to somebody's dynasty roster. He's easily a sleeper for me. With all that being said, those are 3 sleepers we need to watch out for the NFL draft. Guys, hit the thumbs up. Guys, hit the subscribe button. We're popping out content each and every week, multiple times, leading you up into the free agency, into the NFL drafts, and ultimately into your fantasy drafts, so that way you can win a championship in 2024. Guys, hit the subscribe button, like I said. Leave a comment down below. Can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.